Branding by Professor Dr. Subrata. So let me welcome all our friends, all our families, and all our well-wishers, everyone that wants to learn from this great topic of personal branding. I believe that this personal branding is for everyone. Either you are building your relationship, or you're building your business, or you are building your career, or even your leadership. Personal branding is very, very important. And I want to welcome you all. Okay, but before I introduce our first speaker, let me also remind you again that there are 4 factors that can limit, no matter how you spend your time with a conference, masterclass, seminars, but the most important thing is that you are breaking free from these 4 factors. And the factors are ignorance, lack of understanding, lack of vision or dreams, unknown of your identity of who you are, our purpose or your purpose, and our why and your why. Because this is the moment of the truth. If you can break free from all these 4 factors, then you will progress in whatever you're doing and become and achieve in life. But everything in life requires hard work, dedication, commitment, sacrifice, investment, honesty, integrity, and gratitude. If you want to be a great leader, if you want to influence others, if you want to build a healthy and deeper relationship, and if you want to succeed in life and be transformed. So I just challenge you, and I'll keep on challenging you to become a life learner, because learning is living and is lifelong. And you keep learning to feed your mindset. And mindset is everything, because the information that you store in your mindset will determine your belief, will determine your actions, your lifestyle, your behavior, how you treat yourself, and also how you perceive and treat others. Okay. So, but wisdom is the principal thing. And in all our getting, we get understanding, said from the Bible. Better understanding of life, which lead you to better and quality performance and to fulfill your purpose in life, we only start by personal development, self-actualization, self-assessment, and self-love. Also, examine the situation you find yourself, even the challenges and obstacles, with a critical thinking and also the finding solution. However, curiosity will keep you thirsty for more, and no matter your level of education, you should never stop learning. And Y.Y.C.I Mama said, and I quote, "A thirst for knowledge is something that can never be quenched and should be a lifelong." So discover what you are capable of doing, your ability, and also keep yourself in a growth mindset and keep learning. And all your dreams can come true if we have the courage to pursue them by Walt Disney. And that is why we are here on this platform today. These are all the books we've written so far on relationship, and you can avail every one of them on amazon.co.uk or amazon.com. Or you can even email us on yyci.academy@gmail.com, and we'll be able to release those books to you. Many, many, many books. So let's move on. Today, I'm supposed to be speaking today, like yesterday, but we'll see how it goes, because we are dealing with this very important topic on personal branding. Yesterday, we started with part 1, and today is going to be the part 2. And who is going to deliver this part 2 again? It's the same person that started the journey with us yesterday, in the name of Professor Dr. Subrata Chattopadhyay. And he is going to give us enough information that can help us to change our belief system. Dr. Subrata Chattopadhyay is an MSc, MBA, and PhD from IIT ISM Devan and innovative teaching practices. He is highly networked with the industry. He not only teaches, but also practices, and his students do adore him for the same. He has contributed in more than 30 international journals and has published more than 23 papers in seminars and conferences. Besides, he has authored 3 books on computation in estate management, transport management, and value and ethic for engineer and manager, and also an international co-author of a book called Relationship Matters. Professor Subrata has been awarded and recognized as the Outstanding Higher Education Leader of the Year by SOE Global Education Awards and recognized by NFED for his contributions to mentoring startups, teaching, and research for 2 consecutive, let me just see something, okay, year. He was conferred the prestigious MTC Global Top Thinkers Award and also the Mentor of the Year by HRD India. He is on editorial board of 5 international journals and NENDST Government of India. He was recognized faculty on entrepreneurship and a mentor to startups. He is a mentor of change in the utter innovation mission of Government of India and has been conferred the prestigious Certified Management Teacher by MTC and his dedicated teaching and mentoring in 2015. Also, he has successfully chaired and invited as keynote speaker in several national and international conferences in South Asia, as well as Y.Y.C.I International United Kingdom. He is associated as live member with ISTD, CMA, PRSI, NIPM, NHRD, NFED, ISABS, and does mentoring and consulting for various organizations. He is also our advisory board member of Y.Y.C.I International. So permit me to welcome our wonderful professor. Feel free to relax. It might be the only section for us today, but be prepared to ask him so many questions. And by the time he finish his teaching, let's turn this platform into discussion so that we can gain more and then get better understanding to apply it into our lives. And there is when you will experience transformation. You are welcome, sir, Professor Subrata.
Thank you so much, respected uh, Professor Elizabeth Lucas, respected Ma, and thank you for the opportunity. And today is the second day of my session on personal branding. So, as you can understand, that this topic of personal branding is very important in each one of our lives. And yesterday, I actually tried to relate that how products get transformed into brands, and brands get transformed into the top of the mind recall, so that you actually relate yourself to the particular brand for the category that you are searching for. So you become loyal to a particular brand. And in our lives also, we also have our own brand ambassadors, and we actually try to emulate and follow the footsteps of the brand ambassador that we reckon. Um, can I be given permission to share my screen, please?
Yes. Okay, you can share your screen, sir.
Okay. So, before I start, I'm Dr. Subrata Chattopadhyay. I'm a professor at the Institute of Engineering and Management in Kolkata in India. Now, continuing with, the subject that we were discussing is on personal branding. Now, one very important aspect of branding is that how people do perceive you as a brand, right? How you are in the other person's mind when you are not there. How do they reckon you? Now, one important thing over here is that how do you network with people? And when you network, how are you perceived by others? So, one important area of branding starts with networking. So, unless you know people, unless you interact with people in the subject of interest that you are known for, then you will not be able to establish your brand, because you need a lot of followers, right? And if you want to create followers, you must lead, and hence you must establish your brand in such a way that when it comes to a particular subject or area, you are the top of the mind recall. So let me see. I'll just share with you, a video to start off with, and then I'll come to the presentation. And
Is
this is about modern.
excuse me, if
Yeah,
is the video copyrighted, is it okay?
no, it's okay. It's okay.
Okay,
It can be shown.
because I don't want them to start
No, it can be
giving me
shown. It
problem.
can be shown.
Okay,
I've used this video in different
okay,
management development programs,
okay, that's fine.
so it is in public domain. So
Okay, that's fine.
so yeah. So this is about modern networking. I hope the screen is visible.
Yes.
We'll start with a simple question. Why do we network? It's not complicated. We do it to get something we want. Now for a harder question. Why do other people network? Have they got nothing better to do? Of course not. You already know the answer. They network for the same reason that you do. They do it to get something they want. The whole reason networking works is that people form mutually beneficial relationships. Don't make the mistake of thinking only in terms of what you want. You gotta think in terms of what they want as well. Here are a few ways you can provide value to build or strengthen your connections. One, in any interaction, be sure that you provide your personal take on a topic or piece of content. Everything you post or repost online on any site impacts your personal reputation. With that in mind, select a set of consistent topics that you'll stick with and steer clear of content that doesn't fit. Don't just repost links you find related to your chosen topics. Include your own insights on the content to make it that much more interesting and valuable to your connections. Why are you sharing the link? What's your take on the subject? Is there some key idea your network should take away? Add your commentary to help your shares break through the noise and make you stand out. 2. Share your knowledge and experience generously. When you're working to establish and maintain your reputation as a subject matter expert, use sites like LinkedIn, Quora, Yahoo Answers, and Twitter to offer your expertise. They're full of people looking for answers and having lively discussions on just about any topic you could imagine. Make valuable contributions to the conversation. Share what you've learned during your education. Provide recommendations and allow others to gain from your experience. Practicing these behaviors both online and during in-person encounters will give you greater professional magnetism that can grow your network substantially. 3. Building your network is great, but be careful not to neglect the context you have already made. This is about more than just posting content. Answer questions, ask questions, take part in discussions, or even better, start discussions.
Respond when people direct message or post to people with your background or to you specifically. Look for opportunities across your network to make introductions. If you learn that two of your contacts work in the same city but have never met, chances are they may have something to gain from meeting. Introduce them. There's a chance they might reciprocate by introducing you to one of their connections. Even if they don't, you'll still be strengthening your existing network and, more importantly, adding value to those who are connected to you. So that covers some of the things you should do. Now let's talk about one thing you should not do. Don't over-promote yourself. The actions we've talked about, such as sharing insights, joining discussions, and engaging with peers in online communities, are promotion enough. These acts alone are the best ways to gain positive exposure without explicitly asking for it. If you remember nothing else, remember this. Developing a professional network and thriving career requires purposeful action. If you want to get something out of your network, you've got to put in consistent, quality effort.
Well, that was about the art of networking and how do you build an online reputation as a brand, and what are the things that you should do and what are the things especially you should not do in your personal branding and your pursuit for reputation management. So this is again a very important topic which is coming up uh, very fast. uh, that is, how do you build your online reputation? So continuing from where we stopped yesterday, right? So if you want to build a brand of yourself, first of all, you should ask yourself that what makes you special. Now, each one of us, we have our own strengths and weaknesses. So we should understand that what are our greatest strengths. And be it online, be it offline, you should create something unique, something which differentiates you from others. You should not copy others, but you should actually present yourself in your own way. So there has to be differentiation. And unless you have some differentiating traits and characters, you cannot establish yourself as a brand, because the brand has several characteristics. So what are your unique characteristics which are not there in others? And that is what people will look for. Why will people follow you? You need to understand that. So as I was talking about uniqueness, so how does your uniqueness translate to value? So here you need to understand that what are your most significant accomplishments and what do people come to you for? Is it because you are very rich that they come to you? Is it because you are very knowledgeable that they come to you? Is it because you are very amicable and you are very open and that's why they come to you? Is it because that they want solace and peace out of you that they come to you? Right? So you can establish your credibility in different ways. And you need to understand that what are your strength points and why would people perceive you as a brand? Why you are the person who is a go-to person when it comes to uh, you know understanding in a particular area. What do you want to be known for? That's what I was saying. What do you want others to think when they hear your name? So immediately as they tell, oh, Dr. Subrata, oh yes, this is a person who is quite a knowledgeable professor, and he talks about these areas, and he's a proficient uh, speaker in these areas, and he has done a lot of work in this area. So people will be knowing you and respecting you for this. Now, if you talk about Pele, the footballer, the legendary footballer, right? Would you think of him as a dancer? Would you think about him as a musician? So, each one is known for, what they do, and they have established their name and fame. If you think about the different brand ambassadors that you follow, right, they are respected in their particular area. If you think about Steve Jobs, say for example, or the Microsoft, founder, right? So if you think about even Mark Zuckerberg, if you think about Jeff Bezos, right? So you can immediately relate that, whom I am talking about, right? If you think about Tesla, you can immediately say, oh, this is the founder of Tesla, and you are talking about him, right? And this is what he has done. So that's about their brand. Now you need to understand what is your unique trait. What are the different characteristics that you are known for and that you can establish yourself as a brand. So moving on, the next thing is that always seek feedback. So yesterday also I was discussing about this towards the end, that is your perception of others consistent with your perception of yourself? It should be in the same line. So always try to seek feedback from people who are actually, uh, giving you constructive criticism, as I said yesterday. Talk to trusted colleagues. Use 360-degree surveys if possible, and review past performance reviews. Now, I'll start with that. How do you strengthen your brand? That is, how do you establish yourself and stand out from the crowd? So for doing this, you need to first of all understand that what is your goal? Where do you want to go? Who is your target audience? Whom do you want to have as followers when you have a brand? How do you and your current brand position help you to achieve your goal? So you need to understand that, does my brand position currently have to be, moving from this position to this position higher up? And for that, what are my objectives and what do I need to do? Do you need to make any changes? Are you confident that the way that you are going, you will be able to achieve your goal? So say for example, I want that I will have, say, 10,000 followers on LinkedIn, or 20,000 followers on LinkedIn. Now, why should people follow me? There has to be a particular reason why people will follow me. So what is that? You need to understand. So what is my goal, right? What do I, uh, give to the people, and what do I stand for, and why they should consider me as a role model, right? So these are important perspectives to understand when you establish your brand and you stand out among the crowd. The next is that in the process of establishing your brand, you must make relevant adjustments. That means you first try to fill in the gaps. Maybe, in the area that you are working on, you need to improve on your education, your knowledge, your skills, your experience, and maybe, relationships may be strengthened. So you need to understand that what type of adjustments you need to do. The next is you begin to act the part, that is, you introduce yourself. And when you introduce yourself, always keep your goals in your introduction, that this is how you want yourself to be portrayed. And always say to yourself that you have to achieve this. And when you say you have to achieve this has to be achieved within a particular deadline. And when you are saying that you have to achieve this within a particular deadline, you also need to do self-introspection and analysis at regular intervals set by you, so as to see that how things are moving. Are you achieving your goals and your objectives based on the goal that you have set? Set the different timelines and introspect the different timelines, and if possible, revisit and correct it if things are not going the right way. Now that if you have thought about one particular area wherein you are the number one, you want to establish yourself as a number one, so you speak that particular language. You share your story. What is your brand story? And what you are known for. So make this relevant adjustments. The next very important is the networking. So you need to showcase your brand. And how do you showcase your brand? Find out that who are the people in that particular area. Build influential relationships with them. Get involved in cross-functional projects. Use volunteering to strengthen or develop skills. Take on leadership role in a relevant organization. And the other thing is that you need to start a website, a blog, right, a YouTube channel, right, so that there will be a lot of followers and people will know that what you are saying. And if they find something which is new, which is uncommon, which is something which is relevant, which other people have not said so far or done so far, which you are doing, that actually makes for your brand uniqueness, your differentiation, and people will respect you for that. So how do you leverage social media? I just showed you a video wherein I showed that how do you leverage your social media. So over here, when you talk about social media, you need to understand that what are the different social media platforms that you would go for. Now, who is your target audience? Are they the youth? Are they professionals from a particular area? What are you good for, and whom do you want as a target audience? You need to be very clear. You need to segment, you need to target, you need to position yourself so that you become relevant for the target audience, which has a requirement for your expertise. That's very important. Which social media platforms do you use? Do you go for Facebook? Do you go for Twitter? Do you go for YouTube? Do you write blogs? Do you go for any other social media platforms? So you need to understand. So you can go for blogging, WordPress, LinkedIn publishing platform, microblogging sites, Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, Google Plus, so on. You can also have video and audio sites. You can go for YouTube. You can go for podcasting, SlideShare, image posting, Instagram, right? So you need to understand that, out of all these social media, right, which are the media which is relevant for you and why it is relevant. Is it because others have got success and that's why you are also pursuing this particular media? Or is it that, what are the reasons why you should portray yourself in this particular media? And also you need to understand that you as a brand, right, what are the things that you should showcase in the media? Because when you are posting something on LinkedIn or Twitter, the entire world knows about it. So that's very important, right? So you need to select the right media for the right post, for the right branding, so that it has a lot of interaction, it has a lot of engagement. And if the interaction and the engagement, maybe with the photo or the video that you're posting, or maybe whatever you have said, right? Immediately what happens is that there is a lot of eyeballs and people respond. There are so many likes and shares, and it may so be that your photo or video goes viral. And when your photo or video goes viral, it reaches the global audience. There is a lot of traction, there is a lot of interest, there is a lot of exchange of information. So what happens as a result is that you get a lot of millage, and your brand image actually increases. The next very important is, how do you establish your value? So how do you establish your value? So you maximize your brand through social media. And when you maximize your brand through social media, this requires a bi-directional engagement. Why bi-directional? You need to understand that what do you have to offer? Is it your own content or is it curated content? Right? So if you have something to say on your own, that's your own content, which you create on your own. Or it can be curated content. That means you develop that particular content, aggregating different things from different sources. So feedly.com aggregates news resources. And as I was saying, very importantly is the engagement that you have, the traction that you have. Okay. And the other very important thing for establishing your value is, how do you convert connects to loyals? That is a brand transformation, that people who are just your connects, they will become loyal to you, they will value you. And what is it in you that can actually take you to that particular level? So you connect online, you connect offline, and you establish your brand reputation in such a way that people will actually follow you, emulate you. Okay. Online presence, you need to create a social media plan. So you need to commit to consistent activity. Manage your time. Spend 15 minutes per day on social media activity. Right? Use automated scheduling tools. So schedule your activities. Be planned, be disciplined. Track your activity. That how much of likes, how much of, so media analytics, how much of likes, how much of shares, how much of engagements has been there, right? So how people are responding and interacting, because everything in the online space, right, it actually affects your brand. Okay. So you need to track your activity at regular intervals. So you need to be very proactive. How do you manage your brand? Okay. So promote your accomplishments. So whatever accomplishments, whatever you do, see every day, right? When I get some accolades, when I do some conferences, I have some presentation, I have anything, right? I immediately make it a point to post on social media, on LinkedIn, right, etc. So be proactive. So be proactive, promote your accomplishments. Okay. And maximize your participation in meetings and groups. Now, when you are participating in a meeting or group, you should maximize your participation. How do you maximize your participation? You should actually speak out and not be a good listener. So you should be both. You should communicate on your own, and also you should make your own point. And when you are making your point, it should be pertinent point. You should communicate effectively. That's also very important. And you should stay relevant. Okay. I'll show you another video, respected Ma, if you permit me. Right. This is again, in the public domain, so there is no violation of copyright. So I'll just try to show another video. Right. Just a minute. So basically what I wanted to share with you is about 11 mantras of social networking, right? I'll just start the video. Just give me a minute. Let me see if it works. I'll just share the video. Yeah. So here it goes. I hope you can see the video and audio. Is it fine? Anyone?
Yes, we can.
Yes,
Is,
it's clear.
can you see the video?
Great.
Well, I hope the video was visible,
Very
and you actually understood that how do you leverage on social networking, and what are the 11 mantras of social networking. That was about uh, the discussion. Yeah.
Yes.
So can I'll just require 5-10 minutes. Can I continue?
Yes, please.
Yeah. So as I was telling that you
Yes,
need to,
please.
yeah, so you need to be
Please
very,
continue, sir.
yeah, thank you so much. So promote your accomplishments in a very judicious manner and maximize participation in meetings and groups. Communicate effectively so as to establish your brand, and you need to stay relevant. The next important thing is for personal branding that you should choose your associates wisely, right? Now, if you do not have the right people at the right time, at the right place, then your brand pursuits may be affected. And very important, as respected Ma always says, Dr. Elizabeth, that always have a positive attitude. Very, very important. You need to dress and act the part and maintain a professional image online. Now, there are, certain recommended resources which you can go through, right? A very good book is the last one, The Brand Called You. Okay. uh, there's this an article by Tom Peters, The Startup of You, Adapt to the Future, Invest in Yourself, Transform Your Career, by Reid Hoffman. So you can go through these resources. Reinventing You is another, good resource by Dodie Clark. 4 steps to building your future. So these are, some of the resources that I'll recommend towards building your personal brand. So that's about my session on personal branding, right? If you have any questions, we can go through those questions. I hope all of you enjoyed the session on personal branding and how do you leverage your personal brand and establish yourself as someone who is on the top of the mind recall, someone whom people admire, someone whom people look up to, and someone who is always respected and known for the particular expertise. Thank you so much, respected Dr. Elizabeth, respected Ma, and thank you all ambassadors. Thank you all, the who are there on Facebook and YouTube and listen to the session. I hope it was a great learning experience. Thank you so much.
It was indeed a great learn experience, and I really appreciate your time for coming to us and teach us more on branding, especially the personal branding. And I want to say thank you so much. Now, I want to say thank you to Inga. I want to say thank you to Joyce for joining us today. I believe other people as well will join us and they will be able to ask more questions because this is time for questions and answers. And we have created this time so that we can answer all your questions on personal branding. I have my own questions as well to ask our professor today. So let's start with Ambassador Joseph Odeson's questions. My question is, in personal branding, how do you rebrand yourself and rebrand your business to meet up with the targeted audience and also using your area of strength to overcome your opponent in business? Wow, great question.
Yeah, I think that's a very very relevant question, and many a times what happens is,
please open your camera so that we know you are the one answering the question, asking the question. Okay, continue, sir.
Yeah. So many a times what happens is, in case of brand also, uh, the path to brand excellence may not be smooth. So brands also have to reposition themselves, rebrand themselves, and modify themselves so that they can actually cater themselves to the right audience. So you need to, as I said, that at every stage or every step of the branding process, you need to find out that whether things are going right according to your goals, because you set your objectives based on your goals. Now, if things go wrong, then you need to rebrand yourself. And if you are rebranding yourself, that means you are actually diversifying or taking a different route so as to meet your target. So many a times you will see that the company products are actually for the youth, but then they find that it is not only the youth, but they may have a wider audience as the target. So that is a rebranding exercise. Or maybe, so you need to when you are talking about rebranding, you are actually bringing out yourself as a new avatar, so to say, so so that people know about you as someone who is not only known for these things, but also known for these other things, right? So say for example, I am a good speaker. Say for example, if I'm considered as a good speaker, right? So I can also rebrand myself that I am a good storyteller, right? So that is rebranding. So that is another feather in my cap, and I want to actually rebrand myself that yes, I am also into this. Then also I can be doing dramas and different type of other activities which is related to oratory. I can recite poems and so on and so on, right? I can be a good singer as well. So that is rebranding. That means that that adds to the brand basket of offerings. So you are not only known for one specific thing, you are very good in that particular thing, but then you also have other things as well, and you also are moving towards excellence in those areas. So one can actually portray himself or herself in those areas and find out that what are the objectives which might actually help them achieve their goal in those areas. That's my answer.
Great. Thank you so much for answering the question. We're still waiting for more questions, but while we are waiting for your questions, let me ask you one question, Prof. One question I want to ask to start with today is, because I'm also familiar with business acronym and business language and other things like that. And they always say something about USP. USP, which is
Unique sales
unique
proposition.
selling point. Okay.
Proposition.
All right. How does it, is there any way USP is related to personal branding?
Oh yes, definitely. So basically, USP is uh, when you talk about a brand, the brand is known for this. So this is the tagline of the brand. So that is its unique selling proposition, right? So when we talk about, say, for example, Yes You Can International, it is about many things which are related towards societal benevolence. So that is the USP. That means enriching the society in different ways. So that is the USP. And now for establishing the USP, you need a brand. And our respected Ma Professor Dr. Elizabeth is the brand who is actually delivering that USP successfully worldwide, preparing ambassadors and preparing so many things so that it is actually satisfied. So absolutely, unique sales proposition is very, very important. The tagline is very important, and people should recognize and identify, oh yes, Yes You Can International, yes, we know Professor Dr. Queen Elizabeth Lucas, madam, and she is such a respected charismatic personality who has been doing so much for the society. So that's the brand.
Okay.
Thank
All
you.
right. Thank you so much for answering that question. Still based on USP. Let me see if I can illustrate this and then you can make it better for me. In a market, for example, we have different traders in the market, and most especially, some traders will be selling the same thing, like clothes and food and other things like that. How do you, as somebody building your branding and also your USP, how do you outstand, outshine others in the work in the marketplace with your USP and also personal branding?
Okay.
How do you outshine others?
Yeah, another interesting perspective, respected one. So you see, what happens is that there are many products which are mass market products, which are common products. So there is not much of a difference. Now here, the difference is that how you are actually portraying your product or service to others, and what impression you are giving to others, what is your uniqueness and differentiating factor, why would people come to you and not to others, right? So your personality, your amicability, your hospitability, all these are very important, right? You will see that, say for example, if you go to a marketplace, right, maybe there are different traders, but in some of uh, in some of their shops, right, there is a lot of crowd. Now in others, people do seldom flock. Why does that happen? Because these people have over time established trust, faith, confidence, and has been a top of the mind recall as a brand, that when you talk about buying these things from the market, you will buy from this place. You want to buy bread, you will have to go to this shop. You want to buy eggs, you have to go to this shop, right? You want to buy whatever vegetables, you cannot think about about anyone except this person, right? So they have also established themselves as a brand in our minds. And why they have established? Because there are certain aspects which reflects to their unique selling proposition and how they position their brands before us. That's it.
Okay, thank you so much for answering that question. I also have another question here, very, very important, because I think I mentioned it yesterday, and I'm sure you can use a whole day to answer this particular question, but I know that you just give us the key point for us to have an idea and also to study more about it. Yes, we're talking about personal brand. Yes, personal brand is very, very important. And yes, we can build that personal brand. Wow. The question now I need to ask you, sir, because I know that in everything we are talking about, any skills we are building up, anything that we want to become or achieve, there will always be pros and cons. There will always be advantages and disadvantages. So I'm asking you, sir, what other advantage? You've been saying the advantages so far, so I won't really need to go into that anymore because that is exactly what you've shared with us yesterday and today. But what are the disadvantages of this personal brand?
Disadvantages of branding.
Disadvantages, yeah. What are the disadvantage of personal brand?
Okay.
Like the other side of it. Because I know that every skills we are building, there will always be two sides, pros and cons. I know that we've been enjoying the importance of it, the advantages of developing our personal brand. Now I need to know what about, because I know there will be one or two or even more disadvantage of this personal brand.
Yeah. So, when you are establishing your personal brand, so when you're establishing your personal brand, what happens is that when you have a lot of followers, at times, what happens is that people become egotistic and they take things for granted. Now, if people are following you, right, you should also respect them, admire them, right, and also, make them a part of your journey, and not be an autocratic leader taking that everyone will actually follow me, because there is no substitute. The moment that happens, it results in a downfall of your personal brand. Because if you are, you know, proud, and if you are exhibiting that, you know, there can be no one like you, you can never be emulated. That is something which is a pitfall. So you should always be grounded as a leader. And that is very important in managing relations with your followers. You should take your followers that they do follow you because you are a role model to them. So you cannot actually think that whatever you do, they will actually keep on following you, because otherwise they will go to your competitors,
That's it.
right? And they'll find solace in them. So, there can be a crest and there can be a trough.
Mm, mm, mm. Interesting, interesting. I know when we are building a personal development, I mean, when you are building your branding, your personal branding, um, you are focusing on yourself, of getting yourself better and getting yourself better. And on the way around, you are using your personal branding to influence others. And bearing in mind, just the way you said it, bear in mind that there will be competitors over there. So any little things can slash and they can switch to another person. Okay, so and then you've already also make a suggestion that number one, we need to respect our followers. That's number one. Number two, we need to make sure we retain them, not by controlling or manipulating their mind, but inspiring them to become a leader or inspiring them to bring the leadership out of them. That is another way, because when people feel they are being valued or they are being respected, or they've been entrusted into doing one thing or the other, then they will be able to be committed and be loyal to you. So that's another thing. Another thing is when you are building your personal branding, always bear in mind, hold on a second. So always bear in mind that as you are building yourself up, others as well are building their branding. So that is why you need to be open to your conversation, open to your development, and even open to your own vulnerability. Another thing as well that I would like to add to it as well is that while you are building your personal branding, always make sure that wherever you are, whoever you are, is by the grace of God. So you need to humble yourself while you are building yourself up. No matter the opposition in the society, humility is also very important. Because if you don't humble yourself, you cannot work with people, you cannot build relationship, and you cannot maintain your branding. Because if you are making yourself fooling yourself to say, I am over, I am the head of everything, I am I am the leader of the world, and you are not paying attention and be conscious of how you are building yourself up, what you are doing, and who you are relating to, and you are not conscious of it, you'll find yourself fall flat. That is why you need to humble yourself. When you humble yourself, you are willing to respect others. You are willing to learn from your own mistakes. First of all, admit that you also make mistakes, because every one of us will make mistakes, whether we like it or not. But you need to admit it instead of shying away from it or denying it. You need to take responsibility for it and also learn from it. And then another thing that you need to do is when you humble yourself, you are learning from others, because nobody knows it all and no one is perfect. So when you humble yourself, then you will be able to, while you are building your brand as well, you also need to be more approachable, because you don't know it all. And probably the person that want to connect with you know something that you need to know, or maybe some areas that you need to develop. And that is why you're there. Okay, let me just, I'm just using that to just support my professor in what he's been answering the question. Now I have another question for you, sir. Where are you, Professor Subrata? Questions are flooding in, so please let me just read
Let
the
me
question.
let me also tell you this.
Okay.
I was told, by my directors of independent institutions that I've worked. So one director told that the success of your session is the number of questions asked and the number of interactions, the amount of interaction that you have, right?
Very
So,
good.
the more it is two-way, that means people are having a lot of interest
Yes,
and enthusiasm in the session.
exactly.
So I'm grateful to every one of you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir. And also, just to let you know that your topic is very, very crucial. Every one of us are building ourselves up and developing it in one way or the other, and we want to do the right thing. That is why mindset is very important, because if they want to do the right thing, then they need to get the right information, because some of us might get it wrong in building our personal branding. So, but when we come to this area, this section like this, and we listen and we ask questions, then we will get a better understanding. So I want to say thank you also to Professor Soprata for being here to answer all our questions. Okay, so another question that I'm going to let me see, we've done the question of rebranding. Thank you, Maiden. That's the next questions that he is asking another person, Ambassador Maiden. How can I be able to sell a brand internationally, especially when my brand is unique and does not cut across just my local market? Here in Nigeria, how can I reach you with my brand? How can I convince you to buy? I think in a summary, he's operating and building himself up, building his branding, building his business
Yeah,
within the locality of Nigeria.
yeah,
So he's asking a question now, how can he move,
yeah.
not
So,
moving away, but how can he expand or extend his branding to international?
I think what Medan has asked is actually the area which we are going to discuss in March about business and entrepreneurship.
Yes.
But then it is not connected to personal branding, but I'll still take up this question and try to answer. So first of all, your brand is unique, and yes, you are telling that your brand has an appeal outside your country, that is Nigeria, right? Now the thing is that how brands actually reach out. First of all, you need to understand that how do you want to place yourself as a brand. So you need to do in-depth market research and find out that who would be the people, right? Your product acceptability across different races, religions, cultures, across different countries, right? And you need to understand the value system of people in different countries, right? And why people would go for your product. Now, if you want to have your product in a different country, right, you first of all need to understand, the ecosystem of that particular country. So, especially the geographical, then the political, then the cultural traits, then the value systems, beliefs, etc., and why people would buy your product. Do you have any competitors over there already, or you are the only player that will be there? The next is that how do you want to do your business, right? Would you want to do trading, right? Or do you want to establish your operations over there? So you need to do a thorough market research, and then only you can actually come up with results. Now these days this is not very difficult because you are connected across geographies, right? So you can actually prepare a small questionnaire and understand the perceptions of people. And if you find good partners in that particular country, you can start off doing business. And you can first of all send samples of the products and make people use the product. But then you need to first of all study the, as I said, the product market fit. That is very important. Okay.
So thank you so much for asking that question. Like Professor Subrata have said, that we are focusing on personal branding today. And if you have a lot of questions on professional business branding, you will need to join us, because it's going to have at least 5 days to teach us in March. So you need to join us fully to answer to get all your answers on those branding. Let me continue to ask some questions. Let me see if this one is also related to personal. I will read the question, and if it's relating to professional and business branding and entrepreneur branding, I will ask you to wait till next month, because we want to really focus on personal branding. So the next question from Emmanuel says, how will you or I capitalize on new identity in sales and marketing relating to test branding and perception? So hold on to your question, Emmanuel, till next month. I believe we will answer that, because that one is on another branding and not personal branding. Ambassador Sarah also said, how do one relate with increase in market value today and branding expectation? How do we meet up to be in equilibrium? I think that one is also professional branding. Am I right?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's true.
Okay, so we leave that one as well. Hold on to that question. But I think there is a question, very important question. I'm expecting one of you to answer, but I mean to ask. I'm still waiting for that question. And if you can't answer, if you don't know that question, I will ask that question myself. But let me move on. Okay. Prof. Ambassador Joseph contributed to what you've said. He said, rebranding
I think this is a
happening.
comment that he has done.
Sorry?
This is a comment that he has made about
Yes, comment.
rebranding.
Okay. Okay, yeah,
So,
it's
so
about
as I
branding.
said that if you are a very good speaker,
Yeah,
right, you can also position yourself as a storyteller.
yeah,
So when you are positioning yourself as a storyteller, you are actually moving away from your oratory to another new dimension,
yes.
right? So it helps you to attract new audiences, as he has rightly written, stay relevant and stand out among competitors. So it actually adds to the basket. Okay. So
So
yes,
that's good.
absolutely agreed, Ambassador Joseph. So what you have said is bang on, right?
Very, very good, very good. And he
Very
also said earlier on that
yeah,
rebranding can be seen as having foresight for
right.
things others as not, doing what
Sure.
others can't do at a particular time,
Exactly.
looking
But
beyond the
valuable
presence
input,
and
Ambassador Joseph.
upgrading
Thank you so
from
much.
one level of business to another. Draw attention to your business. Absolutely correct. From the Facebook, another ambassador, Rita Ilori, also contributed. It says, be grounded as a leader and don't be high-minded. Otherwise, one will be heading for a deep pitfall. That is also good. And another one also said, don't be an autocratic. I think a professor mentioned that earlier. Don't be too autocratic leader. Carry your followers along in your journey. That is very, very
So
important.
these are engagements and
Very,
their
very
comments.
important.
Yeah,
Very, very important. And then the other one, my uniqueness is key in creating my brand in the marketplace. Yes, your uniqueness is key. That is why we always encourage people when we tell them that be yourself, be the best of yourself. You know, if you if you waste your time in copying others or comparing yourself, then you won't be able to appreciate who you are, appreciate yourself, your strength, and also be the best of yourself. And that is what YYC always encourage others. Be the best of yourself. Don't compromise and don't copy, because you are unique, and it's your uniqueness that will make you a successful personalities and also a successful business and entrepreneur. So be yourself. Don't be real and be authentic. You know, all these things that Professor Subrata have told us yesterday. So go through the videos again and keep learning and keep developing yourself. Another thing I would also like to say or to ask Professor Subrata, the question there is, I've been waiting for the people to ask that question, but I will ask the question. We've been talking about personal branding, and we all know that there is also a professional branding. And the professional branding could be your market, your business, could be what you are producing or your services. It could be any of that. Now, I want you to throw more light, because if we have asked that question, probably some of the questions that our leaders are asking now regarding that is because they don't know the differences between the personal branding and professional branding. So that's why they are asking those questions. So I know you must have hints on it yesterday, but we want you to elaborate it for us. What is the difference between the personal branding and professional branding? To you, sir, Professor.
Well, I'll answer it very simply, right? All of us do have a personal life and a professional life. So, when we are with our family, etc., right? So that is our personal life. Now, having said that, so when we talk about personal branding, it actually, not only encompasses the family life, but also, how as a person, how I am portrayed in my, near vicinity. That is, my immediate circle. That is my close family and relatives and friends, my peer groups. And the next is that, my neighbors, how do they perceive me? How do I have a brand identity over there? And the next is that in my professional pursuits also. So I, as a person, right, when I am talking about my branding, that is personal branding. Now, when you talk about professional branding, it is about the business or the profession that I am linked to, right? How my products and services are performing in the market. That's about professional branding. So that in a nutshell is about personal and professional branding. Thank you.
Absolutely correct. Thank you so much. You have really, really enlightened us more on personal branding, and we really appreciate you. So thank you so much. I want to seize this opportunity to welcome Dr. Samina Evelyn to our midst. Thank you so much for joining us today. And all our great leaders that have been with us. Titus, thank you so much for joining us today. Right. This is what we have been talking about since yesterday. So this is just the part 2 of the personal branding. And Professor Subrata have been teaching us for the past 1 hour, also answering all our questions. So I want to use this opportunity on behalf of YYCI International to thank and to appreciate Professor Subrata, and also looking forward to him joining us next month to be able to share with us more on professional branding. So on this note, we want to say thank you so much, Professor Dr. Subrata, for joining us and sharing your valuable wealth of knowledge, wisdom, and experience with us today. Thank you so much. Right. So now, because there is still enough time, I would like to go back to our relationship and teach briefly on marriage. Thank you.